With a guitar under one arm and a stompin' board under the other, here's Stompin' Tom Connors.
It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling. The Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, the plum Prince Edward Island, the plum Prince Edward Island. Now from Charlottetown or from Summerside, they load him down for the big long ride. He jumps in the cab and he's off with the bride so big old. He's got to catch the boat to make Vermintide, and he hits up that old New Brunswick line. To Montreal he comes just a flying with another big load of potatoes. It's Bud the Spud on the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling. The Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, the from Prince Edward Island, the from Prince Edward Island. And the Ontario Provincial Police don't think much of Bud. Yeah, the cops have been looking for the son of a gun that's been ripping a tire off the 401. They know the name on the truck shines up in the sun. Green Gables. But he hits Toronto and it's 7 o'clock when he backs her up again the terminal dock, and the boys gather round just to hear him talk about another big load of potatoes. It's Bud the Spud from the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling. The Spuds are big on the back of Bud's rig, the from Prince Edward Island, the from Prince Edward Island. From east to west that like the Spuds from the island best, cause they'll stand up to the hardest test. Right on the table. So when you see that big trucker rolling by, wave your hand or kind of wink your eye, cause that's Bud the Spud from old P.I. with another big load of potatoes. It's Bud the Spud, the bright red mud, rolling down a highway smiling, because he's got another big load of the best doggone potatoes that's ever been growed. And they're from Prince Edward Island, from Prince Edward Island.
Well, I don't know whether I'd rather keep him in plywood or keep him in boots, one way or the other. I think it'd be pretty expensive. Well, Bud the Spud, as you probably gathered, got to be a very big hit for old Tom here, and old Tom's got another one right on the heels of that one. What do you call it, Tom?
Story about a guy from the Ottawa Valley, Don, called Big Joe Mufferaw.
Well, let's hear the story. Here we go.
Heave hi, oh, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe, Mufferaw Joe. Big Joe Mufferaw paddled in the Mattawa all the way from Ottawa in just one day. Hey, hey, on the river Ottawa, the best man we ever saw was Big Joe Mufferaw, the old folks say. Come and listen and I'll tell you what the old folks say. Now they say Big Joe had an old pet frog, bigger than a horse, and he barked like a dog. And the only thing quicker than a train upon a track was Big Joe riding on the bullfrog's back. Heave hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe, Mufferaw Joe. Yeah, they say Big Joe used to get real wet from cutting down timber and working up a sweat. And everyone will tell you around Carlton Place, the Mississippi dripped off of Big Joe's face. Heave hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe, Mufferaw Joe. Now Joe had the portage from the Gatineau down to see a little girl he had in Kempville down. He was back and forth so many times to see that gal, the path he wore became the Rideau Canal. Heave hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe, Mufferaw Joe. Big Joe Mufferaw paddled in the Ottawa all the way from Ottawa in just one day. Hey, hey, on the river Ottawa, the best man we ever saw was Big Joe Mufferaw, the old folks say. Come and listen and I'll tell you what the old folks say. Now they say Big Joe put out a forest fire halfway between Renfrew and Old Ironfriar. He was 50 miles away down around Smith Falls, but he drowned out the fire with 5 spitballs. Heave hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe, Mufferaw Joe. Well, he jumped into Calabogie Lake real fast, and he swam both ways to catch a cross-eyed bass. But he threw it on the ground and said, I can't eat that, so he covered it over with Mount St. Pat. Heave hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe, Mufferaw Joe. Yeah, they say Big Joe drank a bucket of gin, and then he beat the living tar out of 29 men. And high on the ceiling of a Pembroke club, there's 29 boot marks and they're signed with love. Heave, hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe. Mufferaw Joe. Big Joe Mufferaw, paddled in a Mattawa, Mattawa, just one day. Hey, hey, on the river Ottawa, the best man we ever saw was Big Joe Mufferaw, the old folks say. Come listen and I'll tell you what the old folks say. They say heave, hi, ho, the best man in Ottawa was Mufferaw Joe. Mufferaw Joe. Big Joe Mufferaw, Big Joe Mufferaw, Big Joe Mufferaw, Big Joe Mufferaw.
Working out the time, as usual. Well, Stompin' Tom's standing by, about to tell us where he's been, and I guess it's about everywhere. Right. Where you go, Tom?
I was hitchhiking down along the dusty when a mucker road. Along came a transport truck with a high canvas covered load. If you're going to Winnemucca with me you can ride. I climbed into the cab. I settled down inside. He asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand. I said, listen, bud, I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man, I've breathed the mountains here, man. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere. Where you been, he said. Oh, let me see now, a couple of places. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, South Dakota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, Oklahoma, Durango, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Anaheim, Vernon, Kalama, Delaware, McKellar. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountains there, man. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere. Well, this truck driver turned around to me and said, listen, buddy, I'm a Canadian truck driver, and I want to hear a little of the North Country for a change. Well, I said, there's always Northern Ontario, places like North Bay and Temagami, New Liskeard, Haleybury, Cobalt, Timmins, Ansonville, Kirkland Lake, Cochrane, Capas, Casing, Hurst, Geraldton, Beardsmore, and the Lakehead. And heading from Nipigon down 17 into Schreiber, Marathon, White River, Wawa, and Sault Ste. Marie. Heading eastward from the Sioux on 17 to Fessalon, Blind River, Elliott Lake, Manitoulin Island, Espanola, Sudbury, Cache Bay, Sturgeon Falls, and back to North Bay. Heading on through now to the Ottawa Valley to Pembroke, Renfrew, Ottawa City, across the Quebec border into Montreal, Three Rivers, Quebec City, Rivière du Loup, and across another border into a country you all know well called there's Moncton, Chatham, St. John, Campbellton, Grand Falls, Sackville, Newcastle, Fredericton, Charlottetown, Somerset, Glace Bay, Annapolis, Spring Hill, City Mines, New Glasgow, Antigonish, Windsor, Truro, Gander, Bonavista, St. John's, Corner, Bakota, Bass, and Mr. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the desert, fair man. I've breathed them out, fair man. But there's just one place I haven't been. Tramping a gas and roller, man. Soon we're going to be there, man. Soon we're going to be there.
That's quite a workout, Tom. Well done. How about a big round of applause, eh, for Tom? Great stuff, eh? Where else you been, by the way?
Dartmouth, Plattsburgh, Gravelburg, Colorado, Winnipeg, Rexburg, Vicksburg, Colorado, Laramie, the Alamo, Chattanooga, Vancouver, Johnstown, Nebraska, Alaska, Palaca, Caribou, Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, Sioux City, Dodge City. What a pity. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathed the mountains there, man. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere. National Hospital, Omaha, New York, Newark, Costa Rica, Utah, Montreal, Springfield, Bakersfield, Shreveport, Hagen, Sac, Cadillac, Monzelac, Devonport, Idaho, Mexico, Argentina, Diamantina, Pasadena, Catherine. See what I mean, Don? I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.